I'm really hurting for our young people. They played their asses off for us tonight, and that's the way that you're supposed to defend and you're supposed to fight at Cincinnati. Is it perfect? No, there's a couple possessions that are really poor defensively, but for the most part, that was back to what I wanted to be able to expect from this team every night, and I hate that we couldn't get the result because of it, and I hurt for them. The last possession, I'm sure you'll ask about it, so let's just go ahead and knock it out. We had fouls to give. We had a timeout to talk about it. We're in our 13 defense, which is 3/4 court man, but nothing behind you. You know, you have a center fielder for that reason. I mean, nothing behind you. We're not gonna do this. We're not gonna place any blame at Jeremiah. That's not gonna happen. The blame goes at me. I'm the coach. We don't point fingers at young people. I'm the coach, and the fact of the matter is that he let somebody get behind him in a defense that's designed not to do that. That's the coach's fault. That means the coach doesn't have the team prepared. That's not a young person's fault that gives their heart and soul to this university and this program every day. So that's on my ass. And I got to do a better job preparing our team for those kind of situations. I liked the look we got there in the tie game. I like, we tried to kind of come out of that semi timeout and see if we could steal one on a little backdoor play, to try to kind of catch them sleeping. And then I thought it was the right timeout to call to try to find the best matchup for Dave, get the best time and clock management there with the 4-second differential. I thought we got a switch that, gave him somewhat of an advantage that we were trying to pick on, what we thought would be the best advantage for David. And I thought David did a nice job of creating space and getting a clean look. I thought he made it. I thought he made it when it hit the front of the rim and it bounced up there. And I thought we had a great chance to get the offensive rebound. We're 11, so we missed a shot that would have put us up 3 with 5 seconds. We go 11 for 21 from the line. And so I think sometimes you got to put it in perspective. We're a bounce away from feeling totally different, being here praising the hell out of how we played defense and how we fought tonight. Listen, I'm an incredibly competitive person, and I hate losing in a really unhealthy way. But right now, I just feel for the guys. I feel for our guys. They deserve to feel a little better, and I hate that they feel that way.
Coach, it's actually been a rough stretch. What is the vibe in the locker room? How, with a couple games left, how do you keep this team, from getting their heads down?
Yeah, well, I think I'm not worried about staying together and fighting, because this hasn't been a team that's failed to do that. So I expect, when things get really difficult, I expect character to be revealed. And that's been the character of this group. It doesn't mean we've played great every night. It doesn't mean we've played with the kind of effort that I like every night. But on the same token, we haven't given in the next day. And so I don't expect this team to give in at all. Attitude, we're going to be hurt and pissed, and that's not a negative thing. When you're losing, your attitude should be a little different than when you're winning, but I don't think it'll be a negative thing. But that's like everything in life, the tough times are the biggest opportunities to grow and learn, and we have to approach it that way.
Was the intent to burn another foul there?
Yeah, we didn't burn one, they didn't call the foul.
Well, yeah, the intent was to burn one with John, and the intent again was to do that.
And we had 3 to give.
Yeah. The kind of rotation structure seems pretty set for you guys. In this stretch where things have struggled, have you considered switching up minutes at all for bench guys, or do you like the way that it's set here late in the season?
I will tell you guys this, and I don't mean this, I don't think your question's unfair, so I don't mean it to come off like in a snapping back at you way. There's probably nothing that anybody else has thought about that we could do with this team that we haven't thought about and kicked around. And I don't mean that in a coy way. I mean, the answer is absolutely. We've met more as a staff this year than the last 6 years of my staffs have met combined. Kicking around ways to try to get an advantage here, or prepare here, or what can we change here, you know, and that type of thing. And, you know, I think sometimes change just to change is not a good reason. Change for purpose is, and we have made some subtle adjustments throughout the whole year. But I think you get to the end of February, you know, roles are defined, minutes are set, and if you do make changes, they're gonna be more subtle unless they're obvious. And we have had some subtle changes in the rotation, you know, that type of thing. But you're right, I mean, if you're watching closely, and I know you are, Justin, you know, for the most part, I think things are somewhat set in stone at this point. As a player, I think that's a good thing. I think you wanna kinda know when you're going in. I think you kinda wanna know what you're expecting at this point in the year. And you know, I've coached a lot of really good teams, and you know, the good teams appreciated that, right? They had confidence knowing what was going on than being jerked around with minutes and lineups and things of that nature.
We saw Victor wasn't available tonight. Do you just have any update on that?
Yeah, he was out for personal reasons, and I'm glad you asked the question. He was out tonight, today. He will be back with the team in practice tomorrow. And out of respect for Victor, I am not going to comment more. It was his wishes, and nobody needs to be worried or concerned or try to figure it out. We're just going to respect his wishes. It had nothing to do with basketball or UC or Cincinnati. It's a personal thing. He needed to be away from the team for a day, and we're going to respect that. And if you could also not ask, I'll ask, because this is not about basketball and has nothing to do with basketball. I can give you my word there. I'd appreciate if you don't ask our players that as well, out of respect for Victor's wishes.
You said practice, he'll be back for practice tomorrow?
He'll be back in practice tomorrow.
Coach John Newman tonight, 11 points, team high, 8 rebounds. His energy was really infectious, and it seemed to kind of spark the offense after that really rough stretch in the beginning. Can you comment on his performance tonight? And he kind of got banged up and gutted it out.
He's fantastic. He's fantastic tonight. I mean, I know he'll want the turnover and transition back when he had Hayden running the rim, you know, but outside of that, a play here, play there, I thought he was fantastic. He's a warrior. He's getting better as a player. He's getting more skilled as a player. He defends his tail off. He was fantastic tonight and gave us a huge lift offensively. We weren't in real good sync offensively.
Anything else?
Coach, Mason gave you guys a shot in the arm, especially in the first half. How was it to see him to come off the bench and kind of give you guys a little spark?
Yeah, I thought his minutes in the first half, you know, especially just being able to make some shots when you guys felt it and I felt it. It was just really hard to come by a basket, and his ability to make a couple shots I thought was really big for our team.
I know you're very always focused on next day. How do you balance knowing, you know, you've come in with a job to do, a process to build something long term, but also just kind of struggling here at this moment in the season?
Well, listen, you know, you don't. If it was all just about, you know, being in position to win bunches of games every single year, stayed at Greensboro. I mean, we were averaging 25 wins a year for 5 straight years. I had every belief that we could sustain that. We were sustaining it, and I had every belief. When you take another job, you understand there's going to be challenges. Like you know that. It doesn't make the moments any easier, but you embrace those challenges and you take them on. And I don't think I compartmentalize it in a way where one day I'm thinking about our team today and the next day I'm thinking about the future. I don't think I approach it that way at all. I think the deal is we got to get better today and we got to get better tomorrow. And that's in every area of our program, whether it's becoming a better defensive team, becoming a better execution team, becoming a better team with focus, becoming more united and together as a group, or whether it's recruiting, or whether, like, you could take any aspect of our program and it's how can we maximize it today. And I believe if you take that approach, the things that you want long term will happen. You know, so it's consistent with the things that I want for this team and the things that I want. They work together, because the last thing I want to do is sit here thinking about next year or the year after. That's not fair to these kids that are playing their asses off that I really believe in. And I still think we can go down and be competitive in our next game and have a chance to win our next game. And I think we can do it in the next one, and that'll be how I always approach it.
One more question?
Just quickly on Duel, Hayden, and Sam, and on senior night, kind of what they meant to the season?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. I should have started with that. I want to talk about Sam. And I had to convince Duel to walk out there. He didn't want to do that. He's a one-year player, and he went through that at Mississippi State already. And, you know, Hayden had never been through a senior night ceremony, so obviously that made sense. And I had to convince Duel to do it because I thought he deserved to be recognized for what he's done for us in a really short period of time, which was a difficult time in May and June when we decided to get him here. We didn't have a roster together. And he stabilized our locker room. He's been reliable. Guys, I don't sit up here because I don't believe in saying anything that sounds like a freaking excuse. But, so I'm not saying this has anything to do with our play, but to speak about Duel, the guy's had more injuries throughout the course of this year than I can count. And he hadn't missed a lot, right? You hadn't seen him miss a lot of games. He's not playing 100%. He is beat down, he's hurt, he's had a ton of injuries, and he's just a warrior. So he's meant a lot to our program here in a really short period of time. He deserved to be honored tonight. Hayden is, he'll go down as one of my favorites that I've ever coached because of how he approaches it every day. And he gets so much out of what he's got, and he just keeps improving, and he's gonna make a lot of money playing professionally, and his best basketball's way ahead of him. If you guys could have seen him 2 years ago and then seen the plays he was making out here tonight in a high major college basketball game, you guys would be amazed, and it speaks to him and his development. If you guys would have seen him in high school, you wouldn't even believe he was playing in that game tonight. So I've been so fortunate to coach him, and you know, I've cut down nets with Hayden twice. You know, we won championships together. We played in the NCAA tournament together, so that was really special for me. And then Sam's the one I want to really talk about because it's rarer and rarer in college basketball that you have 4- and 5-year players. And Sam Martin's been here for 5 years. I mean, he played for 3 coaches, and he's been through a lot of shit. And he doesn't play. I mean, he's never had a role in the games on the team. And he has every reason and every excuse just to say, you know what, I'm done with it. And he had every reason not to play this year. And I know he considered it. And what he means to our program will never be understood by people that aren't with us in practice every day or around our team every day because you don't get to see him out on the floor. But if we would embody, all of us as individuals in our locker room, what Sam is about in terms of his toughness, his maturity, right, his intelligence, like if we would embody the things he's about, we'd all be better for it. And so the most important thing tonight was that we got a chance to honor somebody that did it for 5 years here without a scholarship and without any of the recognition that everybody that gets to run out there and play gets. And he kept coming back. He's a true Bearcat. He's from here. And I was just so pleased in the way the crowd received him tonight. He deserved it. I wish we had a different result for him, but I think we played in a way that I think he'll be proud of.
That's good.